Hello, Rob Gielen. It's a pleasure for
Hello,
me.
Guillermo.
Willkommen. It's a pleasure
Nice
for
to
me.
meet you.
It's a
Nice to
pleasure.
meet you, Guillermo. Yeah.
It's really a pleasure for me to have you here, talking with me about the Camino de Santiago. Um, and I need to say thank you to you for doing this with me. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. So
Thank you for your invitation. I'm
so
very glad I can join.
let's start from the beginning. Do you remember what was your motivation to walk the Camino for the first time?
Yes, it was 2015. I had in Holland. I lived in Holland, by the way. I come from Holland, and my job was I was working for my own. I had, so to say, I had a little bit my own company, and I was already almost 5 years with the same company. And I thought now it's time to stop there, to take some rest, and then I find another task, another job later on. Uh, Also, I had a long relationship of 9 years, which has come to an end almost 1 year before that, before 2015. And I always had in the back of my mind, I want to walk the Camino de Santiago. I don't know why, I don't, but it has always been in my mind. And then I thought, so now I'm single. Now my job stops. So if I don't do it now, I will never do it again. So now I'm gonna. This is the moment to do it. And I was part of a choir. I also here in Barcelona. I now live in Barcelona. I like to sing. I'm part of a choir. We had the show every year, 1 year, 1.5 year. We had a big show, and that was 8 and 9 March in the weekend. And so I thought, I leave the tent. I go one day after that because with the choir, you work for 1.5 year. I have to be there. I have to be there. And I leave the next day. So I left. I left my house, and it was one day to get to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. It took me the whole day to get by train from Holland to the starting point, to Saint-Jean. And then that's where my journey starts.
And what was like that experience? What was that experience for you?
You mean the Camino?
Yes.
It's the yeah. I think it's the most beautiful experience in my life. Number one, and I will explain you why. Because so we started in because when I was in the train the whole day, I got a little bit sweating. I thought, what am I gonna do? Because 800 kilometers, you know, Holland is a small country. It's 3 times from west to east. So I thought, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I'm gonna do this. But then, so I started in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, and it was me, a Norwegian girl, and George from the US, who we slept in the same albergue. And in the Hospitalero, when we wrote in, he started to talk, and George already did the Camino. So he said, George, you are a peregrino. He said to me, and you are not. And he said to the girl from Norway, and you are not. He said, but I will tell you something about the Camino. The Camino will learn to love yourself. You will learn to love yourself. He says, drink water every 15 minutes. Your body needs it. And the Camino is not a race. It's not a race. Look after your body. And good luck, he said, good luck. And then the next day we started, and already I met some of my best friends who I met there. There was also a Dutch He was from Holland. He was from the Philippines, Ron, which I worked with him, and two boys from Miami. But the boys from Miami, the mother came from País Vasco, and they always wanted to do a part of the community. They didn't go all the way to Santiago,
Yeah.
but they went to Pamplona, I think, or a little bit further. But they did it because of cultural reasons, because of their mother.
Yeah.
She said, "You have to do this, boys." And they had a lot of food. They had all the nuts, you know,
Yeah.
nuts, and they had so much. They gave me and Ron. They gave because the mother or the grandmother had gave. She said that's typical Peregrino food, so you need it. So then, but the first day from Saint Jean to Roncesvalles, that is an extremely hard day. So, and I was prepared. I had walked in Holland, but not much more than 15 kilometers a day. But I'm not much of a walker. My body is not. I like to do sports, but I like to play tennis or things with a racket with a ball. So so that night, and finally, so it was so steep up. It was so steep up, and there was snow because I started in March. So it was 11 March, and we started to get into the snow. Didn't know how long it was anymore. So but I always had candy with me, and I gave my friend from Norway. I gave her candy, and everybody got energy because of simple candy, you know. And then we got to Roncesvalles, and that's where I spent the first night. The first night because it was 11 March. There were only two dormitories were open to sleep, and the boys from Miami,
Yes.
they said, "Oh, we want to change because there's a guy from Korea. We slept with him last night." And he said, "I did not sleep 1 minute." He said, "Listen," he even took it with his phone. "The way this guy is
Snoring.
snoring is extreme." And he was in my room. He was in my room. And I said, "I'm so tired, I don't care, I don't get my sleep." And so the next morning, but these boys from Miami also, they were not prepared. It was cold. It was 11 March. They had shorts on, imagine, and they didn't have a blanket or something. But they were young boys. They had a lot of energy, but they were cold, of course. So the next morning they say, and how was women? I said, nothing. I slept extremely well. So then the next day we started from Roncesvalles. So it was with George, with the girl from Norway, and in the meantime I had met people from Korea and Taiwan, and they were going to be the ones I was going to walk with the next 7 days. So there was a military guy, the guy who was supposed to snore for 60 years, but he was fit. The guy was fit. For him, it was easy peasy. He was so fit, and he was training. He was training for the US, for some trail in the US, and there was Eunbin, a girl from South Korea. There was Angela, a girl from South Korea, and there was a man from South Korea, and there was a girl from Taiwan. So I was the only Western guy with the group, and we walked. So we walked the first 7 days for me. I could feel it. I could feel it that at one point I had to say goodbye. For me, it was too fast. I was kind of happy because it brought me far.
Further.
It brought me further, and it was really positive. But then, and It was extremely raining. It was raining, muddy. The circumstances. I've walked like 4 or 5 Caminos after this one I'm talking to you about, and they were all shining. The sun. It was no problem at all with the weather. But this one, it was from 11 March to 11 April, and we had snow, we had rain, mud, and at one point we got to Logroño. You know Logroño, no?
Yes, I know from name. I know from name. Actually,
Yeah.
Until now, I will do it, but until now I never walked the French Camino. Just the last 50 kilometers from Melide to Santiago, because I was doing the Primitivo.
See, I also did the Primitivo.
We are
The most beautiful one. Beautiful. For me, the Primitivo is the most beautiful one.
For me too. For me too.
Yeah.
We'll talk ahead about it.
Incredible. Yeah. And then, but then I was stuck with the group, and we got to Logroño. But in Logroño, you have a big tapas street. It's famous. It's famous in street, and we went out. But my body needs to rest. My normal day, it's when I arrive at the albergue.
Yes.
First thing I do is my legs up and I sleep. I sleep a little bit, then I take a shower, then I eat, and I go sleep again because my body needs the rest. But in Logroño, we went out. We went for tapas. And then the next day I was completely dead. My body was, and then I was alone the next day because they said to me, they were walking fast again, the group, all the Asians, and they said, bye, we see you later. You see, and I was thinking, I'm maybe, and in the end I saw them all, but in Santiago. But I was thinking, no, I don't think you are too fast for me. And then, so that day, the day after Logroño, I was so tired. My body was so tired. And in Holland, sometimes I had massage, like a Japanese massage, shiatsu. You know that?
Yes.
Shiatsu. And I was thinking, oh, if I could have a shiatsu massage right now. And I walk a little bit further, and it says shiatsu massage on the thing. And there was a phone number, so I called. She was a German woman, and she said, "I'm in a half hour. I'm there." She said, and then she said first she wanted to talk a little bit about the Camino, and then she gave me the shiatsu massage. Oh, and I really needed that. That day was really for me. I walked 17 kilometers that day, which was the lowest of all my days. My biggest one, my largest day was entering Leon with 37 kilometers. That was the longest day.
I guess for me the longest was 45.
Yeah, that's
just one day.
Yeah. For me, these distances are too long.
Because I didn't find any place to sleep.
Yeah. You needed to get to the next albergue, no? Yeah.
So following.
So finally, I reached Leon. From Logroño to Leon, there's a lot of stories to be told in between.
After we will have time to talk about the stories.
I have a lot of things to tell you, which happened, which were very special, and why it was such a very special Camino. But then, so finally, I got to Leon, and Leon is a nice city. It's big. It was Semana Santa, which is famous in that part, and I decided to stay a day there, to rest one day. I was a little bit of scared what it would do with my rhythm, but I thought, yeah, sports guys, they rest. It's good for your body. So I decided to stay one day longer. Uh, and yeah, so I got to know also the city of
Leon,
Leon.
yeah.
I met, I talked with a girl from Cuba,
Oh,
uh, Milagros, and she said to me, "Oh, I always wanted to walk the Camino, but she was studying in Leon. She said, but when I have a holiday, I go to Cuba to my family, so I don't have the time." I said, give me your WhatsApp, and yeah, who knows what we can do. And then few days later, she came to a very small place, Manjarin. Manjarin is famous because
the
there is
marsh.
an yeah, exactly. And so she came by taxi from Leon, and she walked with me to Molina Seca. She walked. She walked 2 days. So we spent 2 nights together, 2 days. It was fantastic, and she had yeah, for her also. She walked really easy. She was a good walker. You could see that. It was like she was a little bit of flying, and she enjoyed it really much. And also she got to know all the people I got to know, because in the meantime we built up a big group from like 40, 50 people.
Yeah.
We all knew each other. And because it was from 11 March to 11 April, so there were not too many people walking the Camino at that time. So finally, we all knew each other. And they also got to know Milagros, and she enjoyed the vibe. She enjoyed how everybody sit together on the terrace and talk. How was your day, etc. So and then so we went to Molina Seca. I really love that place there. And then so we went into the mesetas. I mean, alone. Then I was alone in the meantime. I got to meet so many people. So you are never alone.
Never.
And we had a really big group of really nice people from everywhere, from France, from Germany, from Denmark, England, Brazil, Korea, and one girl. I can tell you this. So the one girl I walked with, Eun she met a Brazilian guy, and they got married. They got married 2 months ago.
Oh,
So they met on that Camino, and she was I was her friend. She calls me her English teacher because these people from they didn't speak almost any English at the beginning, but I was talking with them, and they picked up really quickly. And she was always talking to me. She says, "Rob, but he's from Brazil. I'm from Korea. How is that gonna work?" I said, don't get it. It's gonna work. You will see. I mean, just enjoy that you're in love. The two. And they got married last month in Senegal. So they live together in Senegal because she went to work. She went to work for the government from Korea in Senegal. And Alex is his name, joins her now. He's there. I mean, they got married, and he has his own projects, his own work. But that's the most romantic thing from that Camino. That's extremely romantic.
it is.
And yeah, and so the Mesetas, I really loved it also because the French Camino, it consists of 3 parts. The first part is physically. When you're in the mountains in the Pyrenees, you have to survive day by day. And I remember my knees were so painful every night. Oh, I had so much pain. But when you get to the mesetas, your body is used to walking, and you get better, and the mesetas is more flat, and but it's mentally. In the Mercedes, you think, what did I do with my life? What do I want to do next? You can think as much as you want. And the last part, and that's especially when you enter Galicia, it's
Sobreiro.
spiritual. So the last part of the Camino, so first physical, mentally, and spiritual, because then you get happy when you get to Galicia. I remember there's one part in the Mesetas where you see a sign, 656 kilometers to Santiago. You see 1 kilometer later, you see 655. You think, oh my God, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. It's too far. You cannot imagine, huh? But when you get closer, you think, I already got a feeling I'm gonna make it. I'm finishing it. I'm gonna make it. And for me, it was such an accomplishment, because I am not a sports guy. I'm not a big walker or something. But so it gave me joy. I just enjoyed these last 8 days, 10 days. It was fantastic. And I used to start walking early. So where you can still walk on the moon. There were some, you had to look out where you were a little bit, but I really loved that. Really loved the mornings. And there's one in the Camino, in the Mesetas. There's one day, which is the route of that day is something like 25 kilometers, of which 17 is without any house, without any drink. You need to bring, like in the Primitivo, you need to bring your water for the whole day. And so when we got after the long stretch to the first bar, everybody was there. Everybody was there from the whole group. We all knew each other because everybody was having a drink there and talking about it there. Wow, that was alone. And somehow people told me everybody walked alone. They walked alone. So that day, for everybody, it was very mentally, no? Yeah, spiritually, mentally. Yeah.
So after that.
So after that, so finally, I also met a woman from the US, Deborah, and she was also a good friend. And then when I 2 days before the finish, I went out of the hotel and said, "Hey, Deborah!" It was because I didn't see her for 15 days. And she said to me, "Do you want to walk with me the last days?" And then the last day, can we start very early, because she needed to get the train to Madrid. So we did that. We spent the night. These last two days we walked together and had beautiful talks. She had experienced a very spiritual thing. She was with her relationship. She was having issues, problems, and she said at one point in some village, there comes a man to me, and he takes my hand. He takes my hand. He starts talking to me about my relationship. And she said, when I look at these hands, I said, that's my father. These hands are the hands of my father. Her father passed away. And she said, that was my father. Her father was talking to her, like giving advice about it's time to stop. It's time to stop with the relationship now. Hey, he will never change. You know what I mean? So then we went the last day, and when you are there, there they have eucalyptus. They have these eucalyptus trees, so the smell is wonderful. And and finally we arrived in Santiago, and at 9 o'clock already in the morning. And she had to go then later to the train, and I enjoyed my stay in Santiago. I met some other guys again from the Camino. We ate together. I stayed for 2 days. And then I went back to Leon. Do you remember Milagros, that girl?
Yeah.
So I spent 1 week with her after that. So I got to know the city really well. I went to a school to learn Spanish there also, just 1 week. And I really love that city. Leon is really Spanish. It's a Spanish city.
And
yeah.
How it was for you arriving in Santiago, having like some connection with it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Can you repeat, please?
How it was like arriving in Santiago? Have you some kind of sort of a connection with the name Santiago?
Yeah. For me, the arrival, the 2 days before were for me emotional, because I thought, oh my God, man, you really did it. You did it. Now it's just 1 day. Tomorrow you're there. But then finally, when I got to Santiago, I was not emotional anymore. I was not. I had it, but I love the city. I love the city, and now I've been there back many times. I love the pulpe. I love the bars. I love to walk around there in the neighborhood.
What
And
what is your second name?
Gielen.
Sorry?
Gielen. Rob Gielen.
Ah.
Gielen.
All the name. What is all your name?
Oh, my name is Robertus Jacobus Marie Gielen. Yeah. I'm Jacobus, eh?
That's why I'm trying to get you there.
That's true, because always all the hospitaleros, they told me, you're lucky with the name. Yeah.
So,
And I went in the church. I gave a hug to Jacob, so that you do. I saw the mass with the big
the swing thing.
Botifora,
Botafumeiro.
but the Botafumeiro with the music, magical. That was magical. I love it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So that was a French way. That was
a French.
And now the Primitivo. Let's talk about the Primitivo.
Yeah. So I did. So my first and the most beautiful one was the French, was the one we just spoke about.
Yeah.
The next year, 2016, I went back and I walked from Leon. I went Leon to Santiago, 350 kilometers. Then I also did the Portuguese from Porto to Santiago. I also did the English, which is kind of small.
Yeah.
And I did some from Madrid, but it's not, sorry to say that, it's not a real Camino, because it's so young and you don't meet anybody. But it is beautiful. It's beautiful to know the country. But last year in 2019, I did the Primitivo. So I flew to Oviedo, and and the Primitivo is the most beautiful Camino, in my point, the ones that I did.
Yes, it is.
In terms of nature, you see these horses.
In what time did you do it? Did you walk the Camino? What time?
I did it September, October. It was good weather. But finally I walked only to Lugo.
A few months after me.
Okay, yeah. Because I walked to Lugo,
Yeah.
because I didn't have so much holiday, but I went from Oviedo. I flew to
Well,
Oviedo. I walked to Lugo. From Lugo, I took the train to Santiago. From Santiago, I flew back to Barcelona because of my first Camino made me move to Barcelona. So without without my Camino, I would never live in Spain. It was not an idea for me. But the Primitivo, I loved it. I loved it. It's so beautiful, and it's you walk in the nature. So where you have in all these other Caminos, you walk through villages. Sometimes you have you walk on the road, but the Primitivo is almost it's green, green, green,
it's amazing.
and
It's really,
it's
really, really,
amazing. It's
really amazing.
amazing,
It's
amazing with amazing views.
it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
unbelievable. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Did you walk through the mountain stage?
Yes, yeah. There's one day is the queen of
Yeah,
the
the
Camino.
Queen
No,
stage. Yeah,
yeah,
that day just
fantastic. Yeah, most
out
beautiful,
out of the
most beautiful
ordinary.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's I don't know what it is. It's it's
yeah. It's so beautiful.
undescribable.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's why where is so that's why the Camino is so important to you and in your life.
yeah. So it gave me everything for me. It gave me so like the guy said in when I started. He said the Camino will will make you love yourself. The Camino is a tool, and I needed that. I needed that in my life, and but also whenever now, whenever there is a problem, whenever maybe I'm sick or something, I think, come on, man, I did the Camino. I mean, what is this? Eh? This is what is this for kind of problem? I walked 800 kilometers. So it gives you power. It gives you self confidence. You meet so many people from all over the world. The ones from 5 years ago, we still are in contact with each other. The one from the first Camino, and that's really good friends. That's it's very special. And because I live in Barcelona, which is people like to come to Barcelona when they come to Europe, they stay at my place. They stay for a few days at my place, and we connect again. And maybe they're gonna walk the Camino again, or maybe they're gonna go to Morocco. Or but when they come to Barcelona, they know I live here, and that they are welcome. That they are always welcome to stay. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So if you could turn back time and to get back to your best moment on the Camino, what moment you choose?
Well, that's yeah, that's a good question. It's definitely from the first Camino because that was the most beautiful. That was because I didn't know what to expect. Nothing. Well, there was one day. There are there are horses at one
Yeah,
point. You can go up. You can go up with horses, and so there was the Belgium. I had also had a Belgian friend. She's a writer. She's a writer. She writes books, and she saw me. I talk with everybody. I talk with everybody, and also with children. And she already had wrote a book about the Camino Portuguese, and it was called Camino on High Heels, on the
yeah,
shoes,
yeah.
the high heels. And now she wanted to write a book about a child, about a child who's walking the Camino. But I believe when you're 14, you need an adult with you. But she wanted to know how does a child see the Camino, and so she said to me, whenever you see a child, just talk with the child, ask some questions, and there was I met a few. For example, from the UK, there was a girl walking with her parents, and we got into contact. I explained about the book, etc. Can I ask your can I talk a little bit with your daughter then about the thing? So I said, what do you like? What do you like about the Camino? He says, yeah, my parents listen to me. Eh? She had the whole day. They really listened to me. And also, she liked the fact that when they went for a walk, they didn't come back to the same point in the evening. They already
And you
were
place.
there. Yeah. And then, so one day with her, with the Belgian writer, we and the two girls from Korea, the one who's married now
Yeah.
also, was married. She wanted to do the horses, the one from Belgium, and I say let's go. I do it as well, but we were at four people, two horses, so it's a little bit. You walk beside it, and you get up, and it's really high when you get up to there to you're on the mountain, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be on that horse, and that day was beautiful. Was fantastic because also the girls from Korea, they never had been on a horse. It was such an experience for everybody. We were so happy, so thrilled to do that together. Yeah,
That's
and then
amazing.
I also saw, for example, because there was one boy in our group. He was from the US. He made hearts everywhere in all kinds of different ways. In the tree, you would find a heart on the, and he also made hearts on the where we were walking. But for the horses, the the two guys who were walking with us, they wept it right away. That heart. They say the horses don't like it. The horses don't like it when it's when the road when there's something different on the road. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. So in regarding the last question, now if you if something happened in the world and you are on the Camino and you had to do always every day every time the same stage, what stage would be? What stage you choose?
Yeah. For me, I would not like that because I would not like it because I like to see different things. I like to see different stages. But yeah,
But to
the
one stage to walk at
yeah,
least one time more.
yeah. Then I have to say I have to go for the one in Primitivo. That long day, the long day in the mountains with
Hospitales.
the
It's La Ruta de
yes,
los
hospital,
Hospitales.
hospitals with the horses, with the it's magic. It's beautiful. Yeah,
I have no words for that stage. So, so
yeah, yeah.
Rob, we are almost getting to the final. But before, one last question. For you, imagine that you are on a table, drinking with your friends there in Barcelona, your co-workers, and you are talking about the Camino, how it was like a big experience for you. What would you tell them um, the to go for the Camino? Let me explain you better. What you could tell to someone who never walked the Camino?
What I could say is uh, bring as less as you can. So your weight on your back in your backpack, maximum 7 kilos. Maximum 7 kilos because you have to carry it all the way. Uh, the most important thing is to enjoy it. And I would say the same like the guy told me in when I started in Saint Jean. And drink water. Drink water every 15 minutes. It's your body needs it. And I would always say, just do it. Just do it. But I did speak with a lot of people in the time that I'm here, and people who want to do it, who ask me for advice. but they don't go, Guillermo. They don't go. Finally, I say, why am I telling you all these things and you don't go? Yeah, it's too bad because they think they think too much when they start it. It's just you have to go there. You have to buy the ticket. You need to have a few weeks off, 3 weeks at minimum, I would say, to get into the real rhythm of the Camino. And you have to do it. Just do it. No, don't think that you cannot do it. Don't think about any. And often people think, I cannot sleep with everybody. I say, come on, you sleep fine. You will sleep fine. You will meet people. Don't worry. But people make them. I think they make too much. They think too much, and then they don't go.
So, Rob, thank you so much for doing this with me. It was really
Yeah.
special for me to hear you, and I want to tell you that you have a friend in me. Anything you
Thank
need,
you. You too
please,
with me.
please ask.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some when you came to Galicia or to Portugal, please let me know.
Good.
And
I will. Yeah.
I want to meet you and to pay you something. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you, and thank you very much.